Today I'm going to explain how to convert data into a regular figure graph. So here we have a question to solve about I am 100% smart. As you survey this graph, you will notice that three pieces of information are missing: interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalist. Extra paper survey, right? Well, we need to try to find these missing numbers, and one of the ways of solving these numbers is by using a method called proportion. Proportion is basically the relationship of one thing to another in terms of quantity, size, or number. So how exactly can we solve these missing numbers by proportion? Well, first, we need to form an equation. Let's represent the first missing number, interpersonal, by x, and the other numbers by y and z. Now, before we go on making an equation, we need to establish a relationship between spatial and interpersonal by using fractions. Then convert these fractions into decimals. Finally, average the decimals. So 2 over 4 is 0.5, and 4 over 3.86 is 1.04, and so on. Then add up all the decimals and divide by 4. You will get an answer of 0.84. Now, you might ask, why would we do this? Well, we do this because it makes all the survey results into one, and that makes the upcoming step, proportionalizing, way easier. So we got 0.84 as the average of spatial and interpersonal, right? What does this decimal even mean? Well, we got it from spatial over interpersonal, so the answer should be in the same format. 2 over x. Now that we've got the equation, let's solve it. Multiply each side of the equation by x. Divide both sides by 0.84. We get a funky odd number, so round off to the nearest whole number. In the end, x is 2. Now, use the same method to solve y and z. Now that we have filled in Table 1, let's use that data for Table 2. In Table 2, we will convert raw numbers in Table 1 into percentages. We calculate percents by dividing each individual intelligence by the totals. For example, to get the percentage for kinesthetics in the paper survey, we divide 3 by 36. Therefore, we get an answer of 0.083, but we're not done yet. We still have to convert this into percentage form. Multiply 0.083 by 100. We do this because percent means out of 100. So the real answer for kinesthetics in Survey 1 is 8.3%. Great job. Now, do this for the rest of the numbers in all the surveys. As we finish, we can check if the total percentage for all the surveys add up to 100. And bingo, it does. By doing this, we are making sure that our calculations are correct. Notice that there is another column, average. We can fill it in by averaging the numbers in all the surveys. Basically, we add up the numbers in each row and divide it by the number of numbers, which is 5 in this case. For example, let's try it on kinesthetics again. Add up 8.3, 8.6, 11.2, 6.4, and 5. We get 39.5%. Divide by 5. You should get 7.9%. Hooray! Now, do the same for the rest. We can finally start on our irregular figure graph. This graph is not to scale. You will notice that I have labeled some points on the graph. I will be using these as reference points. The first thing about irregular graphs is that you use area to calculate all the parts. And to do that, we need to figure out the area of the irregular figure. Do this by cutting up the figure into irregular shapes. So here, you can see I've divided the irregular shape into a big rectangle, A, B, M, G, a sector of a circle, A, H, O, a triangle, H, L, G, a square minus a quarter of a circle, B, J, C, and a rectangle minus a small triangle, J, C, D, F, M. Measure all the lines and angles, and now we are ready to calculate the areas of the cut-up shapes. You might ask, how did I get these shapes? Well, first observe where the shape bends. Look for shapes within the big shape. Instantly, I see the sector, but how do we find the radius of it in order to find the area? First, mark 3 points onto the curve of the sector, any 3 points. I chose A, I, and H. Now, drawing lines connecting them. Find the middle point of the 2 lines. Draw a line from the middle point. Make sure the middle point lines are perpendicular to the lines you just drew. Now, where the 2 lines touch is where your radius should be. Now you can find the area of the sector and all the other shapes I mentioned. After you finish the calculations for all the cut-off shapes, the total area for the figure should be 464 square centimeters. Now that we know the total area of the irregular figure, we can calculate the area of each intelligence. For example, kinesthetics. Its percentage is 7.9. Divide 7.9 by 100 and multiply it by 464. You should get an area of 36 square centimeters. You can do this for the rest of the intelligences. Remember how we separated the figure into smaller parts to find the area of the irregular figure faster? Well, let's use those shapes to help us with the area for the intelligences. For example, for kinesthetics, its area is 36 square centimeters. Now, find the closest to that area on the graph. Hey, the triangle is 35 square centimeters, only 1 square centimeter off. So add 1 square centimeter onto the triangle. Use the same method for musical. Musical's area is 75 square centimeters. The area of the sector looks close, 71 square centimeters. So add 4 square centimeters onto the sector. Let's do naturalist now. Naturalist is 38 square centimeters. Let's use the square minus the quarter circle, 21 square centimeters. Subtract 21 from 38, which is 17. With this 17 square centimeters, make that into a rectangle. We want the rectangle to match up with the sector, so divide 17 square centimeters by 10. We get 1.7 centimeters. Measure 1.7 centimeters from the sector and draw a line. This is the area for naturalist. Now let's go on to intrapersonal, which is 72 square centimeters. Let's use the lower right rectangle minus this small triangle for it. Notice how the rectangle is way bigger than the area we are looking for, but that's okay. We just need to cut away a bigger chunk. In the end, after cutting away the chunk, it should look something like this. Now to logical and mathematical. Well, we have this weird space in the middle. Let's start at the top. See how there's a triangle near the sector? Let's use that out. So the area of that triangle is 20.5 square centimeters. Subtract that from 73. You get 52.5 square centimeters. We want to create this 52.5 square centimeters into a rectangle to attach to our triangle to form our 73 square centimeters. This line is 10.5 centimeters, which happens to be the number we're going to divide by to get the length of the rectangle. Divide 52.5 by 10.5. We get 5 centimeters, right? Now, draw a 5 centimeter line from the bottom corner of the triangle. Two more intelligences to go. Linguistic. Use the area at the bottom. Measure the length of the bottom area. It should be 14 centimeters. The area for linguistic is 62 square centimeters, so divide 62 by 14. By doing this, you will get the width of the rectangle, which is 4.4 centimeters. Measure 4.4 centimeters with your ruler. Time for spatial. You have a long strip of space left at the top. Let's use that up. Measure how wide the space is. You should get 3.7 centimeters. The area for spatial is 50 square centimeters, so divide 50 by 3.7. You get 13.5 centimeters. Measure 13.5 centimeters downwards. What area is left? Interpersonal. The leftover space should be the area for interpersonal. But before you do anything, check if the area is correct. After you finish everything, measuring, drawing, decorating, the final result could look like this. Reflection on my graph. When I look at my graph, immediately I can see I'm pretty good at stuff relating to music. I personally really like music. At school, I play the clarinet in band, and at home, I play the piano. Also, I love singing. Wherever I am, I'm always humming something or singing something. Last year, I was in the Army Girls on a choir, and this year the choir will be traveling to China to sing. I can't wait. Just by looking at the graph, I can see my linguistic and interpersonal scores are similar. These categories seem to be my average one. I don't excel or fail in them. They just hang around in the middle. My nature and spatial skills look the lowest to me. Though I like nature, I don't really know many names of plants or flowers. I just looked at the plants, dwarfed by their greenness or awed by their delicacy. Same with my spatial skills. I like drawing, a lot in fact. But when I'm bored, I don't go to drawing first. I go to reading or singing first. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something from me.